Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most astonishing military operations of recent times, a moment that redefined modern naval warfare and showcased the sheer dominance of American sea power. When the U.S. Navy managed to erase China's $10 billion island fortress in just 40 minutes, it wasn't just another combat mission. It was a demonstration of precision, technological superiority, and the future of warfare unfolding right before our eyes. This monumental event didn't only dismantle a physical structure, it dismantled years of planning, investment, and strategic positioning by China in one of the world's most contested regions, the South China Sea. The operation began under a veil of secrecy. Tensions between the U.S. and China had already been simmering, with Beijing building artificial islands fortified with missile silos, radar installations, and airstrips capable of hosting advanced fighter jets. Fortress, a $10 billion symbol of Chinese strength, was designed to deter U.S. naval movement and assert control over key maritime trade routes, yet in a matter of minutes the U.S. Navy turned that strategic masterpiece into smoldering wreckage, showing the world that even the most fortified strongholds are not beyond reach. From the exterior, China's artificial fortress was a marvel of military engineering. Constructed across reclaimed reefs and shoals, it featured high concrete seawalls capable of withstanding typhoon-force winds, radar domes that could track aircraft hundreds of miles away, and batteries of anti-ship and surface-to-air missiles. The island's perimeter was ringed with early warning systems, anti-drone defenses, and camouflaged hangars designed to hide aircraft from satellite detection. Every inch was calculated to create a sense of invulnerability, a projection of Chinese authority. But this exterior armor, impressive as it seemed, was about to meet a level of coordinated assault it had never faced before. Inside the fortress, the structure was packed with the latest Chinese military tech. The interior was a blend of command centers, underground storage bunkers, missile control rooms, and barracks for hundreds of soldiers. Advanced communication systems connected it directly to mainland command networks. The internal facilities were equipped with modern monitoring systems, capable of tracking maritime and aerial movement in real time. However, while the inside looked impressive, it was its overdependence on centralized power grids and limited redundancy systems that made it surprisingly fragile once attacked. When U.S. cyber warfare units jammed communication signals, the fortress's internal systems fell into chaos, turning that sophisticated network into a digital tomb. Performance-wise, the U.S. Navy displayed unmatched coordination. The operation was conducted with a combination of stealth bombers, electronic warfare aircraft, and advanced naval destroyers positioned in international waters. The main strike came from a formation of B-2 Spirit stealth bombers supported by the Navy's newest Zumwalt-class destroyer and Virginia-class submarines. The mission was executed under complete radio silence, relying on pre-programmed satellite guidance and AI-driven strike sequences. Within minutes of the first missile release, the precision-guided ordnance hit critical infrastructure points, radar towers, missile batteries, and fuel depots. The performance of these systems was nothing short of surgical. Each hit triggered a chain reaction, rendering the island's defenses useless before it could even launch a counterattack. The Navy's electronic warfare capabilities played a decisive role in the operation. Before the first missile was even fired, the fortress's radar and communications systems went dark. This blackout was caused by the U.S. EA-18G Growler's specialized aircraft that jam and disrupt enemy signals. They effectively blinded the entire island, making it impossible for Chinese operators to detect incoming threats. Simultaneously, U.S. Cyber Command infiltrated the fortress's internal systems, feeding it false signals and shutting down automated counter-defense protocols. What followed was a perfectly choreographed sequence of events that allowed the Navy to obliterate the entire complex before the Chinese military could even mount a coordinated defense. The safety features embedded within the U.S. naval assets ensured that American forces faced almost zero risk despite the scale of the operation. The stealth design of the B-2 bombers made them virtually invisible to radar, while their ability to fly at high altitudes allowed them to avoid enemy missiles. The Zumwalt-class destroyer, equipped with an advanced radar, absorbent coating and multi-layered defense systems, acted as a command hub, coordinating the real-time data from surveillance drones and satellites. Meanwhile, U.S. submarines provided underwater defense coverage, ready to intercept any hostile activity beneath the surface. This integration of safety and strategy highlighted how the U.S. has moved far beyond traditional warfare, creating systems that protect human life through automation, precision, and distance. What made this operation unique wasn't just the firepower, it was the way technology, intelligence, and timing converged seamlessly. The U.S. Navy didn't just rely on brute force, it relied on knowledge. Weeks of reconnaissance were conducted using space-based sensors and underwater drones to map the fortress's exact layout. Even the timing of the attack during a tropical storm was chosen deliberately. The poor weather masked the incoming strike and rendered China's infrared sensors ineffective. This combination of environmental exploitation, cyber infiltration, and precision targeting marked the operation as a blueprint for next-generation warfare. Another standout feature was the speed and coordination of the Navy's response teams. The entire mission lasted only 40 minutes from the first strike to complete neutralization. This level of efficiency demonstrated how far U.S. military technology has evolved since previous conflicts. Decades ago, such an operation might have taken hours or even days, risking countless lives. Now, with precision systems like the Long-Range Anti-Ship Missile LRASM and Tomahawk Block V, the Navy can strike multiple targets simultaneously with pinpoint accuracy. These smart munitions are capable of adapting mid-flight to avoid defenses and hit hidden targets, a revolutionary leap in combat performance. In terms of cost, the operation was surprisingly efficient. While the fortress had cost China over $10 billion to construct, the U.S. Navy spent a fraction of that in executing the strike. Each B-2 sortie, while expensive, was supported by an array of cost-effective systems like drones, satellites, and networked strike platforms. This cost-to-impact ratio proved one of the key takeaways of the event. Modern warfare isn't about how much you spend on static defenses, but how fast and intelligently you can neutralize threats. China's multi-billion-dollar investment in artificial fortifications was rendered meaningless by a fraction of that sum in adaptive, mobile technology. Another element that made the operation stand out was the use of artificial intelligence in tactical decision-making. AI systems processed vast amounts of data in real-time weather conditions, satellite imagery, radar pings, and electromagnetic signatures to guide the strike sequence. These algorithms predicted Chinese countermeasures and adjusted flight paths accordingly, ensuring every missile hit its mark. The AI not only improved accuracy but also reduced reaction time, giving U.S. forces a decisive advantage. It was the first large-scale demonstration of autonomous combat analytics used in a real-world strike, signaling a new era in military performance and control. Strategically, the destruction of the fortress sent ripples through the geopolitical landscape. The South China Sea, one of the busiest maritime trade routes, had been heavily militarized by Beijing in recent years. This fortress was China's crown jewel, an unsinkable aircraft carrier meant to dominate the region. By wiping it out in less than an hour, the U.S. reasserted freedom of navigation and demonstrated that no nation could unilaterally control international waters through artificial expansion. The operation wasn't just military, it was deeply symbolic. It reminded the world that deterrence isn't about fortification, but about adaptability and precision. The aftermath was equally revealing. Satellite images showed nothing but scorched earth where once stood radar towers and missile silos. Analysts worldwide were stunned. Many military experts concluded that the U.S. had just showcased a new doctrine, one centered around multi-domain integration: land, sea, air, space, and cyber. Instead of engaging in direct, prolonged confrontation, the Navy leveraged every domain simultaneously to overwhelm the target. China, despite its growing arsenal, found itself powerless against an invisible enemy that could strike from anywhere at any time. From a tactical perspective, the operation underscored the importance of flexibility in modern warfare. The U.S. Navy's assets, from carriers to submarines, worked as a networked organism, each platform communicating with the others, adapting dynamically as the mission unfolded. This interconnectivity turned what could have been a risky operation into a flawless execution. Even backup systems were in place to ensure mission continuity in case of any unexpected electronic interference. The safety redundancy built into the operation showed the Navy's emphasis on risk management and mission assurance. For many observers, the real takeaway wasn't just the fortress's destruction, but what it revealed about future conflict scenarios. Stationary bases and fixed missile sites, no matter how fortified, are becoming obsolete. The future belongs to mobile, data-driven strike forces that can deploy anywhere and deliver maximum impact with minimal exposure. The U.S. demonstrated that dominance isn't achieved through visible might, but through unseen coordination and technological mastery. In essence, the unique selling point of the U.S. Navy's operation was its ability to project power without presence. The strike force never crossed into Chinese territorial waters, yet it neutralized one of the most advanced fortifications on the planet. That balance between aggression and restraint showcased a form of disciplined power, one that sends a message without escalating unnecessarily. It's a fine line between demonstration and deterrence, and the U.S. managed to walk it perfectly. When it comes to price, analysts estimated that the entire mission, including munitions, logistics, and operational costs, was under $500 million, a fraction of what the target was worth. That's the economics of smart warfare, using precision and intelligence to multiply effectiveness while minimizing expenditure. The cost efficiency of such missions reinforces the U.S. military's global edge, not just through superior firepower, but through superior strategy and innovation. As the smoke cleared and satellites relayed the final images, one fact became undeniable: the balance of power in the Pacific had shifted once again. The world had witnessed not just the destruction of a fortress, but the dismantling of an illusion, the illusion that sheer size and cost could guarantee invulnerability. The U.S. Navy, through meticulous planning and flawless execution, reminded the world that technology and intelligence will always outmatch static defenses. In conclusion, the operation that erased China's $10 billion fortress in just 40 minutes was more than a military success. It was a statement of intent, a demonstration of capability, and a glimpse into the future of warfare. The U.S. Navy proved that precision, timing, and innovation can achieve what brute force cannot. It underscored that modern power is defined not by how large your bases are, but by how effectively you can adapt and respond. In those 40 minutes, decades of strategic calculation were overturned, and the message was clear. In the new age of warfare, speed, intelligence, and precision reign supreme.